Hey guys, how's it going? It's Alex of Coyote Star Astrology. Welcome back to my channel. This is my full moon in Taurus video for the full moon on October 31st, 2020 Pacific Standard Time. This full moon has been greatly anticipated and honestly kind of given the side eye by many astrologers for most of the year, really, but especially this month, as it comes in as this crescendo of energy trailing after kind of a eerie month of scorpionic energy. Lots of scorpionic vibes flying around. We've got Mercury stationing during this full moon, which adds to the intensity. We've got Jupiter and Pluto getting closer and closer together for their next conjunction by the day. There's a lot going on. And of course, this full moon would be on the traditional holiday of Halloween because it does kind of have this spooky vibe. Not gonna lie. So let's break this down. The thing that makes this full moon so weird, honestly, and unique is that the moon is conjunct the planet Uranus. So there's the moon conjunct Uranus, and it's not, I don't want to say that the moon and Uranus aren't friends. Because honestly, when they're working together in harmony, they're a really powerful duo, and we will talk about that. However, they really are kind of an odd couple because the moon rules our internal emotional realm, right? It's our more empathic, sensitive, psychic, intuitive, emotional, private world. It's how we feel, and it's how we feel into things. The moon is sort of like our inner waters, and it also governs our circadian rhythm. So our sleep cycles, and we want these cycles and we want these inner waters to be tranquil and serene, because this, of course, translates to a healthy, tranquil emotional state. And this is why Uranus is such an odd little friend for the moon to have right there, because Uranus is not that whatsoever. Uranus is very awake and alert. Uranus is hyperactive. It rules electricity and energy. It rules Kundalini energy. So this signature here, well, and it also rules disruption and change. So it's rattling for the moon, right? And this signature right there, it really, honestly, it looks like the signature for insomnia. It's very high strung. Now, positively, because the moon is a receiver, it's receptivity, it's water, it's like a sponge, it absorbs. And this is why the moon describes our more psychic nature. Because the moon is this receiver, you could see how Uranus, which is essentially a transmitter for energy, like an antenna, it could just plug into the receptivity of the moon, and we could use this signature to receive some pretty powerful insights. That's when Uranus is really its most magical, when we're able to get these downloads and these uploads seemingly from out of the blue that completely shift our reality in a way that often surprises us, right? And the moon and Uranus are across from the sun in Scorpio. And a sun in Scorpio, by design and function, is here to transform. So this full moon, which is very high voltage, very extreme, and the buildup to this full moon has been extreme. It does look like the theme around it is really about regeneration, and that some kind of shift occurs for the collective on an emotional level, And of course, this will translate into our personal lives. We can have some kind of emotional shift because of Uranus there, the planet of awakening and revolution, being so close to the moon and how we feel. This is a dramatic shift, which then seems to encourage the sun in Scorpio to transform, to shed. So the sun is sort of sizzling over there across from Uranus and the moon, and it comes in at a very auspicious time when we consider that Mercury is about to go direct. So Mercury is over there in Libra. It has come out of Scorpio for a moment. It's retrograded all the way back to Libra, which means we're talking about relationships again and this desire to find peace and harmony in relationships. Mercury in Libra wants things to be fair, wants to meet in the middle. It wants to work things out. How can we make this work? And this is where Mercury was when it went into shadow at the end of September, September 23rd, September 24th. So you may want to think back and recall if anything came up within relationships or what was coming up in general at that time. Mercury was in square to Saturn at that time. So that was when we discussed that there was this challenge coming up, this Saturnian challenge, which is usually some kind of real world situation that needs to be faced. And then Mercury went on its journey through Scorpio, very intense. It made a couple of passes by Uranus that really kind of rattled things up. And now Mercury is back where it was. And it is still squared to Saturn once again, this full moon. So what this suggests to me is that something is being revisited this full moon. That square to Saturn means that something needs to be looked at or talked out or addressed that has to do with the real world, real life. What are we really dealing with here? Saturn is not about fantasy and the ideal and like the perfect world. Saturn is about the world as it exists right now. This is the reality of the situation. And how do we work with that? And Mercury is literally at a standstill this full moon, preparing to go direct on November 3rd. So there's a closing. There's a closing of the issues, and there's also, we're getting ready to make a push into making a decision around certain things. So whatever's been coming up in the retrograde, you're now ready. We're getting some green lights coming up. So there's this buildup happening, but it's still in square to Saturn, so it's not easy. So back to the auspicious timing of this full moon. Because this full moon has Uranus, which rules higher intelligence and information, it's almost as if Uranus is arriving to shock us with some perspective or bit of information that we need right in the nick of time, right before Mercury goes direct, which is when a lot of people will start making decisions and commitments and stuff like that. So it's like, well, before you do that, you gotta realize something. That's sort of what it feels like to me. And when a planet goes direct, it's kind of like a push broom of all of the stuff that's been collecting and gathering over the Mercury retrograde starts to push forward. So following this full moon and after November 3rd, this is more when we can start to see some things moving forward powerfully. And then we will have Mars move direct on November 13th, Pacific Standard Time. That one is intense. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, guys, and I'm not trying to fearmonger or anything. I've talked about this before, but November looks like some civil unrest. Yeah, it really does, because Mars will be going direct, Mars in Aries, and Mars is pissed, man. Mars is pissed because Mars has been trying to move forward for weeks, but Mars has been squared by our 3 Capricorn planets off and on, which really frustrates Mars. Mars getting blocked is like slamming your foot on the gas pedal and the wheels just spinning and spitting gravel and getting nowhere. And then imagine doing that for months and months. And some of us may feel like that on some level. It gets old, right? And when Mars finally gets the opportunity to get out of the gate finally, you can imagine there's going to be some pent up fuel. And that fuel is going to be directed at the Capricorn planet. So this is where we may see some civil unrest happening against governments and amongst people that are fired up and on opposing sides or whatever. In our own lives, however, this fuel can be channeled into our projects. And I think that for the most part, outside of what's happening in the world, many people will find this energy as a relief middle of November. So that's what I've been telling people in my sessions. A lot of people that are waiting for certain things or thinking things over or whatever, those are kind of the 2 big days, November 3rd, November 13th. Until then, we're in this weird holding cell where we're just getting bombarded with weird information, and like there's really nothing to be done about it. You know what I mean? But back to the full moon. The ruler of the moon is Venus. She's now in Libra. Thank God she's out of Virgo. That helps. This helps. Venus rules Libra. She likes to be in Libra. However, she is in conjunct the moon and Uranus. And an in conjunct is a stress aspect. It's not the harmony that Venus wants, that's for sure. And she is also being opposed by Chiron. Now, this is actually all right, because this means that there is some tenderness to the themes coming up, especially in relationships this full moon, but that there is this opportunity for healing. Because Venus is like wafting her goddess energy, her perfume or whatever, across the zodiac to Chiron, who's over there in Aries, bent over his sword, kind of sad and wounded and feeling unworthy and alone. The ruler of Chiron is Mars. So yeah, it's like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know where this is going. But Venus is here to help. So yeah, I mean, Uranus is breakthrough or breakout energy. So it's a full moon, very high energy. I'll be surprised if I can sleep during this full moon, honestly. Definitely have your popcorn ready, because I can say with pretty much 100% certainty that something crazy will be happening within politics. If y'all have been tuning in to alternative news, you know that there's a pretty interesting narrative happening there. But in our own lives, it's definitely a good marker to, I don't want to say wait for, but anticipate that there may be some information that comes in around that full moon that you could really utilize in making your decisions for November. That's what I'm doing. It's kind of like, I just want to kind of see what this full moon brings in, see what Uranus has for me, what downloads I can glean from this energy, and I'm going to go from there. And regarding the relationship thing, like I said, it does feel like final closure or resolution, or like another layer is kind of added to the understanding of what's actually unfolding. But it will be interesting. Uranus is unpredictable by nature, so you never really know. You never really know what he's going to bring to the table. All right, you guys, I think I will close it out there. If you guys want to reach out to me for a reading, you know where to find me at my website, coyotestarastrology.com. I'm putting that and my Instagram up there on the screen. And I have a quick announcement. I have a couple slots left at a free webinar that I am hosting with my dear friend Justine. I'm so shocked. We promoted it on my Instagram 2 days ago and we've almost got 100 signups. It's almost full, but I have I think 15 left. So jump on this if you want to, because it's going to be a first come, first serve thing. So Justine, I've known her since elementary school. She's amazing. I'm putting her Instagram up there on the screen so you can find her. She is an herbalist. I reached out to her for a private consultation for some health issues that I've been going through, and her knowledge about health and healing and the systems of the body just totally blew my mind. We've had 2 consultations and the knowledge that she carries is so profound. I was just like, people need to hear you talk. So I'm sort of bringing her onto my platform because I wanted to interview her with you guys. And we wanted it to be free because I just really want you guys to have this information, because the topics that we're going to cover are things that so many people struggle with. So we're going to be covering gut health, hormone balancing, heavy metal detoxing. We're going to talk about her favorite herbs so that we can all have our knowledge on that updated. Biohacking. We're going to talk about structured water and the importance of sunlight. Adrenal support. We're going to talk about a lot of really awesome stuff. So, if you want to come to the webinar, again, it is free. It's on November 1st at 7 p.m. PST. Shoot me an email, coyotestarastrology@gmail.com, and I will send you a link. And so sorry to those of you that can't attend. There will be more coming up. And yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like and a share. I really appreciate it. By the way, thank you guys so much for helping with the algorithm thing that we talked about last video. Really, really appreciate it. It means a lot to me. I love you guys so much, and I'm wishing you a safe and incredible full moon. All right, guys, talk to you soon. Bye for now.